University of Kentucky senior and college athlete 21-year-old Laken Snelling was recently arrested after a newborn baby was found wrapped in a towel and placed inside a trash bag in her closet in her off-campus apartment. The story right now is that she delivered the baby and the placenta in her room, fell asleep for a bit, woke up, cleaned up the scene, put all the cleaning supplies and the baby into a bag in the closet, and then went to class. Her roommates were allegedly the ones to see blood and ultimately discovered the deceased baby hidden in her closet. She recently appeared in court and pled not guilty to her charges, which include abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. Now, the details coming out online, though they have not yet been verified by police, are saying that she did know that she was pregnant. The baby measured 38 weeks and had a full head of black hair and weighed just around 6 pounds. These reports are also saying that the baby was born alive, though police have not yet determined a cause of death, which is currently being determined by further testing. Now, apparently the ex-boyfriend, who is the one that took a DNA test to confirm that he was the father of this child, held a funeral for the baby alongside his family. Now, I just want to pause for a moment and think about him for a second. He had apparently no idea that she was pregnant, no idea that it was his child, and then no ability to defend or protect his child. Now, as for Laken, she is currently at home in Tennessee with her parents on house arrest after placing a $100,000 bond, and she's awaiting her next court appearance. And before we dive in any further, here's just a clip from her in court recently.
According to an arrest citation, officers were called to her home last Wednesday after a dead newborn was found hidden in a closet. The citation says the infant was found wrapped in a towel inside of a black trash bag. Also, according to the citation, after being interviewed by officers, Snelling admitted to giving birth and to concealing the birth by cleaning any evidence, placing all cleaning items used inside of a black trash bag, including the infant, who was wrapped in a towel.
That baby was treated like garbage. And I think it's important to note here that she was cleaning up the scene. I mean, it sounds like a crime scene because it is one, because you can't do that. And I think that's important evidence to point out because that has been confirmed by police, that she cleaned up the crime scene and put the baby in with the trash. So while we are waiting more concrete details about the case and what happened, I think the public reaction to this is also worth discussing because, predictably, I saw a lot of girls defending her actions or excusing them based on things like her age. She's only 21, she's a child. I mean, give me a break. She's a grown woman, not some helpless child that doesn't know what she's doing. Also, I saw people trying to say, well, you know, it's the Kentucky abortion laws. She was scared. Shut up. Some women online were saying things like this, and people still agreed to ban abortion. Like, you rather remove a cell or do this? First of all, it's not a cell. It's never been a bunch of cells. That is a lie that they tell women. It's a blatant lie. Another person who was defending her said, I think it's so sad she thought this was her only choice. The important thing to point out here is that this was not her only choice. In fact, the obvious first choice here is that she could have simply called police or an EMT as or after she gave birth. But I saw a lot of women online saying, well, you know, Kentucky has strict abortion laws. She would have gotten in trouble, especially if she was miscarrying. She could have got arrested. It's all woefully untrue. To be crystal clear, if this baby was already deceased before she gave birth, she would not be in any trouble for calling police. If she was miscarrying, none of that would get her in trouble. And because that narrative was such popular discourse online, one girl made this video and I just wanted to play a clip because I thought some of the comments under this were great too.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're a woman and you're having a miscarriage, go to the hospital to get help because you are not going to be arrested for having a miscarriage.
Nope. Or if you miscarry at home. That's a lie. Gosh, it's such an evil lie.
And if you're a woman that confidently comes on here telling other women 24/7 that if you go to the hospital while you're having a miscarriage, you're going to get arrested, you're part of the problem.
Yep.
There is no reason under the sun to give birth to a baby and then put that baby in a trash bag and throw it away. There's no reason to throw your baby away in an apartment complex dumpster. There's no reason to put your baby in a towel in a trash bag and stick it in your college dorm room closet.
I mean, yes, to all of that. A lot of people were commenting under it and saying things like this. They lied to create issues like this to further divide. I live in a deep red state. Sister-in-law had a miscarriage a year and a half ago. Hospital hastily took care of the tragic situation. No cops, no arrest, no investigation. Of course, because that does not happen. A woman said, had one last year in a completely banned state, a civil law state at that, wasn't taken to jail, wasn't refused medical attention. And there was a lot of women under that comment section saying similar things because that's the truth. Now, one person said, not justifying what she did, but this is literally what happens when women don't have access to safe abortions or know people who will shame them for it. We tried to tell you when Roe v. Wade was overturned. And immediately, one girl commented under this and said, and a safe haven box was 4 miles from her house, Hope this helps. Exactly, because when we're talking about options and choices and what her options were, she had the choice to take that baby immediately to a safe haven box, which there was many near her house. And if you guys have never heard of a safe haven box before, I wanted to make sure that everyone knows what those are, so I want to show you a little bit about that. If you just go to the website Safe Haven Baby Boxes, you can see where they're at in your area. A safe haven baby box is a safe, legal, and compassionate option for parents in crisis who are unable to care for their infant. Fully compliant with state laws, these boxes are equipped with advanced safety features to protect the baby and allow medical personnel to retrieve them quickly, because you can legally and safely surrender your infant. And I just want to show this video because, again, it shows how simple this is. You can find these outside of fire departments. Sometimes they're at public hospitals. There's different ways to find them. But again, all you have to do is Google it and they'll pop up.
When a parent walks up to one of our Safe Haven baby boxes, all they have to do is walk up to the door, open the door, take the orange bag, place the infant inside, shut the door, and walk away.
That's it. So don't tell me that women don't have choices. Don't tell me that it's only abortion or killing your baby after birth. I mean, shut up. These kind of systems are beautiful and they are in place for women in crisis, for women who can't or don't want to carry their baby. They can simply just drop them off.
Once the hospital gets the notification that a baby has been placed inside the Safe Haven baby boxes, they'll come, open the door, grab the bassinet, and take off for the emergency room.
It's that simple. And if you look up near the University of Kentucky, there are 3 within a pretty close proximity. There is also the beautiful choice to give your baby up for adoption. So I hate seeing this empathy like, well, allowing your baby to die or killing it is her only option. It's unequivocally untrue. And it's not even an option. It'll get you in prison. I hate even referring to it as an option because it's not one. It shouldn't ever be one. But given the frequent conversations around women's right to choose, I'm not surprised that we're seeing many people trying to defend her. Thankfully, there were others like me who were shocked by this quick reflex to just blindly defend. One person said, the fact that people are justifying this because she couldn't get an abortion says so much about the wickedness of the human heart. People think they know what right and wrong is, but they don't. Now, there were a lot of pro-choice people who also did not support this. They saw it as murder, of course. And I thought that their comments were interesting, so I want to highlight a couple. I am pro-choice, but once that baby is born, it's murder. Gosh. She could have called 911 or took it to the fire station or hospital. I am pro-choice, but once that baby is born, it's murder. Okay, I'm going to read another one because it's very similar. See, personally, I support abortion no matter what, but at the end of the day, that's plain out murder. What she did, it's insane people try to use abortion as an excuse for it. If she really wanted one, she could have found a way to get one. See, with both of these commenters, I'm glad that they agree that a baby born and then killed or not treated is murder, but I want to unpack that a step further because I saw, frankly, many comments like that. I mean, that's the pro-choice argument. Pro-choice up until birth. So once that baby is born, then it suddenly becomes murder. So just to be clear with that logic, the baby is safe and all clear to be murdered as long as it's in the safety of the mother's womb, for many up until full term even. But the second the baby comes out, that is when the murder is done. That is when it's wrong. If you think that makes no sense, it's because it doesn't. In fact, the TikTok comment sections were just full of confusion between these girls because a story like this highlights just how weak the pro-choice argument is. Heck, if we're talking about choices, it was her choice to do this to her baby. So doesn't that make it okay? I mean, the answer, of course, is no, but I'm trying to follow their logic to its logical conclusion. And frankly, she wasn't the only woman to make this choice in the last 2 weeks. Mother arrested after baby found alive in motel. And the story is that this was a 22-year-old young woman. She was arrested after giving birth to her baby and then leaving her baby in a dumpster. Thankfully, though, in this story, the baby was heard crying, and so people eventually found the baby and saved it. Yeah, even here, authorities say a parent may leave their baby with staff at a hospital, a police station, or fire station without identifying themselves or being criminally charged under Georgia's Safe Place for Newborns Act. It is completely legal, even under Georgia's law, strict Georgia law, to surrender your baby to authorities. Also, in both of these cases, no one apparently knew these women were pregnant. And if no one knows, if they don't want the baby growing inside of them, and if it's their choice to take no responsibility for that growing baby, and the baby has no inherent value according to them, if the value of the baby only comes from the mother's acknowledgement of that life, of it being worthy, or her having that desire for that life to exist, then it allows the mentality for actions like this. Thankfully, though, there were women online counteracting that mentality by sharing their own stories, even having similar situations to Laken. I remember finding out I was pregnant. I was also a college athlete with dreams of running my senior season because Laken right now is also a senior. But not even for a second did I ever think he didn't deserve life. That baby deserved better. Yeah, I would say so. Here's another one. There's many of these. Trust me, I know how terrifying it is to find out you're becoming a young mother, but I never once considered throwing her away like literal trash. She had many different resources. She chose murder. Those babies are so precious. We need to shift the cultural narrative around babies. The negativity and the outrage and frankly, the hatred of the unborn is creating toxic ideologies, as we already know, but will lead to darkness in all forms. As those moms just shared, babies are a gift, not a growth that needs to be destroyed. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe to this channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. For other content, you can also follow me on Instagram and X, as well as our brand new comment section Instagram. I'll see you guys in the next episode.